Dad's calling. What's up, Pop? We in the middle of a podcast. What you doing?
You what?
We're in the middle of a podcast. Say hello.
Oh, you are? Hi.
What are you doing, Dad?
Oh, my bad.
No, you're good. You're good. Don't worry about it. This is a great way to start it out. We just started, so this is perfect.
Oh, you did? Okay.
So
Yeah, I'm just getting out of work. I just got in the car.
nice.
Freeway in a few moments.
Good day. Any crazy things happen?
Yes.
Like what?
I was parked looking for an address, a location on a map,
Mm-hmm.
and I was on the phone with our people at the shop, and some lady walks up, and she looks kind of like iffy, kind of like, I don't know about this, like she's gonna hit me up for money. That's what I thought.
All right.
So I gave her the just one moment, I'm on the phone sign, and then
Nice.
she's like, oh, okay, yeah. So she's like, yeah, but the window was rolled up. So I got off the phone within a few seconds, and because guys don't really talk a lot. I know girls are like, they could be on the phone for like an hour, right? But guys are like, all right, what is it? What do you want? So anyhow, I rolled down my window, and she's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I just got out of this place right now down the street, and she said, and I'm having a hard time getting money to get to the bus.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, and I thought she was going to ask me for money again. She's like, can you give me a ride to? I'm like, I can't. I'm sorry, I can't.
Oh shoot.
I said, because we're in a county, this is a county truck, and I can't give anybody a ride in this truck. She's like, oh, but it's just down the road, I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't. I said, but there's a bus. If you walk down this block right here and turn right, you'll see it right away. And so, I started rolling up my window, and she's like, wait. So I rolled it down. She was like, the next time I see your truck or a truck that looks like it, I'm going to break your window.
Oh my gosh. Oh shoot.
I said, okay, sounds good. Have a good day.
Dude, that's crazy.
And I drove off.
Wow. What a wild story.
I know.
That's hilarious. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I knew there was something about that girl.
You just knew.
Yep.
Dang, Pop, that is a wild story.
So that was that. But that's Altadena.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You know what? It's kind of weird because there's some really nice places in Altadena where you have every house is north of $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
And it's landscaped in huge properties. And then you have the side of Altadena that's like, you don't really want to hang out there for too long. There's liquor stores and that type of thing everywhere.
Right.
Like the movies, like in the movies where the 3 or 4 guys are outside hanging out, just sitting there doing nothing.
Mm-hmm. That's what it is.
Like that. And then one dude, I swear, there's one dude that has a wheelchair.
Of course.
But he's hanging out. He's hanging out with the crew.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool, Bob.
So
That's funny.
that was that.
Nice.
So
All right, Pop.
how's it going with the podcast? You getting people or not?
Yeah, we have actually. Everyone's watching right now, so hopefully they're enjoying this.
All right, cool. Sounds good. All right, man. You get to it. I'll catch up with you later.
All right, thanks, Pop. I love you.
Love you too. Bye.
All right, bye. I just feel like that has to stay. I don't know. That's the feeling I get.
Maybe not.
Anyway, I'm so tired.
You say that on every... it's only been 2 podcasts, but... You say that every single time.
I swear that I am, though. But no, the thing is I just got an email from my SEO boss, director, whatever you want to call it. And he's like, hey, on this thing, what's going on with this? Can you give me an update? Blah, blah, blah right now. And I'm like, oh, that's right, dude. I got to do that, too.
The one that's due tonight?
Nope,
a
different one.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, so I have to do both. And now I'm like, all right. It's just a lot more stuff that I have to think about, do, whatever.
Well, I'm not ready to go to the store tonight. I have to go tomorrow.
Why?
Because I'm doing stuff to prepare for it.
Oh, okay. The list?
Yeah, and just, I haven't made a list of like what we need. I know there's like a kind of a little one, but
Okay.
I mean, we're not getting like food because we're leaving, right?
Yeah, heck yeah, we're getting food. Yeah, we don't have hardly anything besides fish.
I think we can survive for 1 week.
No!
Not even a week, because we leave Friday.
Yes, but
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
I really want pasta. Just sounds really good with ground beef.
Mm-mm.
Alfredo.
Mm-mm. We just had pasta.
This is what invalidation looks like, ladies.
Your ideas. Stab it.
Nah, I'm just playing. Anyway, getting into it
Can
for
we
real.
Get started?
We are started.
No.
This is perfect. Why would we not start?
We should get started.
All right, perfect. Welcome to welcome to the Validation Podcast,
Episode number 2.
number 2. Today we just want to say thanks to everyone that gave some great feedback on our first video. Everyone really liked it, it seemed.
Yeah, that was great. I was telling Christian that I was surprised by the response to the podcast because I had kind of like, it was like, oh, this would be a cool thing just for me and you. And then like a lot of people actually responded on Instagram and I was like, oh, shut up. It was good. That was crazy. It was surprising.
Yeah. What was surprising was that I actually had no, actually I lied. I had one response, which was cool. So one person was like, hey, good job. So Karen, 17, me, 1. It's all good. I take no offense to it. It's all good. But yeah. Anyway. Karen, I feel like you should kick this off. We had I don't know what you want to what specifically you want to talk about, but I know we've had at least the last 24 hours we had a difficult time / day, and we had a communication thing where on Sunday it wasn't the best. It wasn't the best communication on my part, for sure. And I don't know if you want to bring that up with me again or not.
Brought it up.
I ask because that's obviously that's what this is for, and
that's true.
It's a safe space for you.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard because we have a great relationship, and at the end of the day, I love Christian loves me, and when you're in the moment of things, it just feels really intense, and sometimes it is hard to talk about your issues or to bring them up or to face them because we're not perfect, and I feel like that's easier said than when someone's bringing up a flaw. You can say all day long oh, I'm not perfect and it's okay, I'm not perfect, and then someone points out a flaw in you and you're like, what? How dare you say that? At least I don't know. I feel like that's been my experience. But yeah, yesterday was a hard day. I feel like it was a harder day for me just because sometimes when we argue, I hate to call them arguments because, because there's no yelling or anything. We don't, our arguments are not like that. They're very different, which I'm grateful for.
Yeah, me too.
And maybe we could talk about that one day, why our arguments are different and why we've chosen to, have it be that way.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a reasoning behind kind of the way that we choose to communicate.
It's different because of, the song. I'm different, yeah, I'm different.
Oh gosh.
I felt it in the moment, was it not right?
I
thought it was. Anyway, sorry, just kidding. Keep going.
Not appropriate at this time.
Keep going. I apologize.
Anyways, I do take things really to heart, and it just weighs on me. And I'm gonna just be super vulnerable. And I have mental health issues. If you're watching this, you know me, and you know that I struggle. And when you're kind of in a low, it kind of goes like this. Sometimes it's really like this, and then it goes back up. When you're in a low, I feel like you everything, a little tiny little spat can really just, bring you down into the dumps. And that's kind of what I was yesterday. So I'm just gonna say like what happened in my eyes, and then maybe Christian. I still haven't really told Christian, so I'm sure he's gonna be
I know nothing.
shocked maybe.
Yeah, we haven't talked about it really, so. I don't know.
So yesterday we came home from church, and I don't know what I was doing, but Christian had to teach a lesson, and he was trying to get things clean for the lesson. And, I really got upset because he was like, oh, we need to get the table cleaned. And I was like, okay, I think you can handle that by yourself. And then he was like, oh, can you at least get the pillows? And boy, when he said at least, I was so triggered, like to the most triggered. And let me talk, and it's been a couple hours now, so I feel like I can see what was distortion and what's not. But in the moment, I was thinking, for the most part, I clean a lot. So the at least is like, don't I do a lot during the week, and you can't get 2 pillows? So I was going full drama mode, and I was getting really upset, And then afterwards, he mentioned, like, I was eating hot Cheetos. Okay, don't judge me. I eat hot Cheetos a lot. I was eating hot Cheetos, and then he was like, oh, don't get the couch dirty, or, like, make sure not to get the couch dirty. And I was like, in my head, again, now it's distortion, but in my head I was thinking, first of all, last time and every single time the couch has been clean, it's because I vacuum it every single time. And I clean it every single time I clean the living room. So these 2 comments, I was like, okay, what is going on? Because the house has been clean and is continually clean because I pick up, not that Christian doesn't do anything, sits on his butt all day. I'm just kidding. Christian does a lot around the house, and he has a longer work day than I do. So the extra hours that I have, I clean. So hearing those comments that, hey, can you at least do this? I was like, can you at least back up? Because I'm going to start swinging. I was really upset.
Yeah.
So what happened? So he told me that. I got really upset. I walked away, and I started making a lot of noise with the dishwasher because I was starting to unload. I also stress clean, so when I'm angry, I might just start cleaning because I'm angry.
I've noticed that.
So I started cleaning because I was angry about him making a comment that I don't clean. So I started unloading the dishwasher, and then he makes another comment and says, hey, like, can you not make so much noise because I'm getting ready to get started on a video. Well, if you can imagine going from level 3 to a level 5 to now I'm probably at a 9, I was super escalated really fast, and we can talk about, each of our personal responsibility for our feelings in a second. I'm just trying to explain what was going on. So, Dan, your dad is right. I do talk a lot. I'm like, how do I summarize this? But I was so upset.
No, honestly, though, this is really good. Like, I'm loving everything that you're saying, so that I can understand it better.
Yeah.
So keep going, please.
Thanks. Anyways, so I was like, okay, got it. And from that point on, I was like, you know what, Christian, I don't want to be around you. I was really mad, like, genuinely. I feel like I don't really get mad like that often, but at that, I was really pissed. So I was like, I don't want to be around you. We both had to be in that same meeting, so I went in the meeting in the office, and Christian stayed out here in the living room and was on that same meeting. And then after that, I kind of shut down for the rest of the day and just, like, refused to communicate. I left the house.
You left?
I put a note on the door, dude.
I did not get the door. Oh, I was asleep.
Yeah. See, okay, and that was also triggering me because
Okay.
somehow Christian, when I'm upset, and he's right, he just has to take care of his own emotions. But, like, he made himself a meal, and he went to take a nap, and I was spiraling like crazy. And I was like, this fool doesn't even care. Not true. This fool doesn't even care, And I was like, okay, whatever. I left. I came back. He still wasn't awake or around. So then I finished cleaning the kitchen. And then what else did I do? And then I think we switched, and then he came out, and then I went in the room. Basically, there was not a whole lot of communication until like nighttime, when I just needed to be around him because I was really upset, and I just needed him to be around me. Didn't mean I wasn't still angry, but I just, at that point where I was mentally, I needed him to be around me. So in my perspective, this is not in truth, or this is just saying what I felt and what I was thinking. That's kind of how yesterday went down for me.
Well, just to start, like, if all the things that were running through your mind, all those thoughts, all those feelings, everything, thinking all the having all the thoughts that you did, and thinking those things, and in that way, that specifically, like, escalating and getting further and further and further, I can see how you would be so upset. I can understand why you would feel so upset thinking the things that you were thinking, and it getting to that point, escalating and escalating and escalating until you're at basically a 10. And it's true that, I could have said certain things better, right? Or I could have used different words. It's also true that my intentions were not in any way to demean you or to tell you that you're lesser than me, or that you don't clean, or that you're always dirty, or anything like that. Like, none of those thoughts ever came to my mind. That was never a thought in my mind, or a feeling, or an intention of mine to make you feel a certain way. By me saying that or whatever, I wasn't even thinking that would be something that would potentially affect you, as far as like what I was saying. I didn't even think about that. So, that's, I mean, it's tough. I mean, seriously, thinking like what you were thinking, I can't even imagine how much, like, you could almost see how the anger was kind of bubbling up in you and just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And, that's tough, and I can see why you were so mad. I really can see it.
Yeah.
I can see it. And it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. The whole day was hard, and the not communicating, all of it was really hard. And I didn't really know what to do either, because I knew that you didn't really want to communicate with me, at least at that time. And so in my head, I was just like, okay, it's not that I wasn't upset about the situation either, right? Because you had like, we were talking about that, and of course, that I'm still affected by these things. Like, it's not that I don't care that I go and take a nap, or that I relax or whatever I'm doing. I don't know. It's not that I don't care. It's just that I'm just trying to be okay myself.
Right.
I'm trying to, like, make sure that I'm okay. Because we're obviously not going to communicate about it at that moment. So for that time period, I'm just going to do the things that I know will keep me in an okay state, so that when we do talk, I'm good. We can have clear conversation.
Yeah.
And it can be good, rather than me, putting so much stress on myself by doing something else and then maybe blowing up later or something like that. Like, I knew I had to make sure that I was going to be okay, so that we could have good communication later. And, yeah.
Yeah. So, this is like one of the things that I love about how Christian communicates, because it's going to take a little bit of explaining, but I'll get into what I love. But there's certain core beliefs in our core that kind of are driving factors of like how we carry ourselves, what we think about ourselves. And sometimes those core beliefs are kind of broken, or they're distorted, meaning they're changed. And one big one for me is about feeling enough. I have a constant struggle with not feeling like I'm enough. And that carries over in different aspects of my life. And I've noticed that when Christian and I have disagreements, he almost always will make it a point to say, hey, none of my words meant had a direct impact on your worth. And if you notice, he just said that right now as he was explaining. And that's one of the things that I appreciate, because when we are arguing with our spouses, disagreeing with our spouses, man, your mind takes a million different roads. It goes from, it was just one comment, really. I mean, if we look back at it and we dissect everything, which we probably won't do, but if we dissect everything, like, it was just one comment. And from that comment, it was like, he doesn't think I do enough, I don't do enough, to he doesn't appreciate me, to like, I'm a bad wife, I'm a bad person, blah, 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 boom, 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 until I'm not enough. So now from that one comment, I've taken away all of the worth and value that I have as a person. And that's all it took. It took one little thing to tip the scales. So
Yeah.
I think that's why this is good. And you know, and even an exercise like this, where we're talking about it on a podcast, like bringing it back and seeing like, man, our words have impact, you know, whether we intend them to be that way or not. There is something that is, there's a consequence to what we're saying. And anyway, I appreciate what you said. And I know, like, now in my clear head, because there's things that, in truth, I could have said, too. Like, hey, the first comment, I could have said, like, hey, I don't appreciate that comment, or, hey, that comment makes me think this. And boom, that situation could have been over. I chose not to say anything. You made another comment. I chose not to say anything there. I'm sure you could see me getting upset as these comments were being made, because it's our natural instinct, whatever. Sure. And whatever. I had opportunities. I didn't do it. You could have phrased it better.
Sure.
Didn't. You know, there's responsibility definitely in both of us, and not letting our situations escalate. And now I feel like it's a learning experience for sure, because all of us express ourselves differently. I'm a very sarcastic person, and that can be misconstrued or seen as being rude, or I don't care, or different things. And you know, or the opposite, you know, being too nice, you can be perceived different way. People's perceptions, just, they're different based on their experiences. And for me, those comments really were triggering. And, you know, but
Yeah. That's and it's interesting that you were saying that. The thing that was coming to mind right now was like you were talking about the comments, right? And that came to my mind in the sense that, like, again, my motives were not, or my thoughts behind what I was saying are not that you don't clean ever, or that you're always making a mess, or that you never clean, or that you don't do anything. Like, my comments, there was never any thought behind those comments that that was the case, right? It was never that you're not enough. It was always just, in the moment, I'm just like, I gotta clean this thing because I'm on in like 2 minutes. You know, I'm like, and then I asked him, you know, the comments, right? They could have been, I could have said it in a different way. Not saying also that what I was saying, it's almost like I'm sorry, I'm going off a little bit, but it's almost like the agreeing with somebody's distortion.
Okay, yeah.
Right? Like, if in your mind you were thinking, man, this guy really just thinks that I'm terrible, or that I don't do anything around the house. And if I said, yeah, you're right, that's, you know what, I'm so sorry I said that, because that's what I was thinking, or something. I'm phrasing this poorly.
No,
yeah, the truth is, like, I wasn't intending any of that.
Yeah.
And what you were feeling is real.
Mm-hmm.
Those feelings that you had were real. And I feel bad that you had them.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean it when I say that that must have been really hard.
Yeah.
Because the thoughts that were coming to your mind were not nice thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't intending for you to have those thoughts at all.
Yeah.
It was not my intention with my comments to have you think anything like that. And so by trying to validate you right now, which really I'm being totally honest when I do,
Yeah.
like, that whole situation was really hard, and I'm sure it was infuriating, and I can see why you would feel that way. And the truth is, I promise I didn't mean any of those things like that. I promise that I really do love you, and that I really do care about you, and I do see that you do so much in the house, and that you do, like, care about, like, the couch. Like, it's not that you don't care about the couch or the table or, like, the cleanliness of the house or whatever. Like, I see that, and I know that for a fact. And that's what's true in my mind.
Yeah.
Like, that's what's true to me. Like, 100%. I believe that. And so if I make any comments that are stupid or that could be phrased better, I promise that those misstated comments do not mean that I think that you're not enough. I promise they don't mean that. And so yeah.
And we're not pros at, like, getting through our disagreements yet. I feel like every time that it happens, it teaches us a little bit more of, like, hey, what can I do? What can you do? Like, recently Christian said, hey, if you're having an issue or we're having an issue, like, I'm not going to give you feedback unless you're asking for it. And that was a little intimidating, I'm not going to lie, because it's hard. Like, sometimes you just want to hear certain things and you want a certain response and you're seeking something. But it was very responsible of him to have done that, because it's true. He is not supposed to come in and fix all of the bad thoughts that I'm having. He's supposed to come here, support me, if he can, and is willing to support me, and then, I have to get through my own crap by myself, And it, for anyone that is watching and you are going through a rough patch or rough day, 24 hours or longer with your partner, friend, parents, that happened to me sometimes when I was living at home. I would feel like, my mom is saying this, or my dad, this is going on, and it happens all the time. And every single day, our coworkers, our boss, they don't recognize the efforts that we're making that we think they should recognize, or we feel like we're not doing good in our callings at church. All of these different things that you can feel like, man, this is all going to crap. and it's difficult, and that's why going through this is so important, because now by me stating what I'm feeling, it's telling me internally that what I was feeling does matter. And him saying it out loud, like, hey, I care about what you feel. Well, like it or not, like, that does something to you internally. It just tells you, like, hey, I have worth, I am valuable, my feelings do matter. So it kind of changes the way that you are as a person, at least I think. And I think it's very, very, very important to not suppress what you're feeling. Don't just put it under the rug. There's a new podcast.
That's right.
Don't put it under the rug because you want to keep the peace, because that's all temporary, right? Those things, they always come down. I'm saying always, and I mean it. They always come down. Kind of hiding everything down, letting it build, not recognizing that you have feelings and they matter, until one day, somebody says something, is just the final straw, and then it comes crashing down when it doesn't have to.
Yeah.
Could be stopped a lot sooner.
Yeah. Yeah, man, that's crazy. I see that a lot with I see that a lot with friends, and just the stuff they're going through. Most people they're like either one or the other, in my opinion. I've just from what I've noticed, it's either like they immediately like go into like a distorted view of it, like, oh, my boss didn't recognize it this time, right? Whatever. It could have been 1,000 times, but for some reason this person noticed that this time the boss didn't notice this about what they did. And they get super pissed, right? Because they're like, dude, I always do well, and this, that, and he never notices, right? There's like the always and the never. So usually I see it in friends where it's like stuff like that, or they never ever say anything about it. They just keep it internalized, and it just builds up in them, and they just not gonna say anything. They're mad, they're still upset, but they just shove it down, and just don't talk about it. And yeah, man, it's just not good. Like there's a lot of people. I mean, not just us, because like we are always willing to listen to whoever just wants to talk.
Yeah.
Like if you just want to talk about something, you want no feedback, by all means,
Right.
I will listen. I mean, don't call me at like 1 a.m., but like call me like a reasonable hour, and like I promise I'll pick up the phone and we can talk.
Yeah.
But like there's a lot of people that are willing to do that, not just us. Like there's like other friends and family members, and like I don't know if you're in church or if you have like an ecclesiastical leader, like they'll listen to you too. Like there's a lot of good and willing people out there that are just willing to just listen and that won't judge.
Right.
And I just feel like we just don't talk about it enough. And sometimes if we do talk about it, we're thinking in a distorted way, which is okay.
Right.
Because if someone knows how to validate somebody in truth, one, they don't have to agree with them. If somebody says my boss is a terrible person, I don't even know your boss. I don't have to say, yeah, he's a terrible person. I could just be like, wow, that situation is crazy. Like it must feel devastating to not be recognized.
I promise I'm gonna look at you but my neck, dude.
No, you're straight. I don't know why you're not facing me, homie.
Yeah. True. Okay.
But like, I don't know why, he's not recognizing me because I'm always doing this, that, and that. Well, you can just say like, man, it's really tough, and it must feel devastating, must feel hurtful,
Right.
to feel like you're not being recognized.
Yeah.
And the person will likely be like, yes, it does. Like, it does feel hurtful. It does feel devastating. Like, it's so frustrating. And they may say, and he still, every time, I did this last week, and he still didn't notice. And I can still say, yeah, man, that's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough. I'm sure you're not feeling good about that. And,
Right.
you may be even reconsidering your job and, like, all these other things. Is that, like, what's going on? And they may say yes, they may say no, whatever it is. But what I didn't do is say, your boss is terrible, he's a jerk, you're right, that's horrible.
Yeah, you didn't jump right in.
I didn't just jump right in because although that may feel good, it's really not the right thing to do.
Right.
And it doesn't help the other person at all.
Yeah.
It doesn't help them.
Yeah.
Because they're looking at it in a distorted way, probably. Because the truth is, like, is it possible that he is just really bad at looking at these things? Is it possible that he's writing them down for your annual review? Are these things possible?
Yeah.
Maybe they're not likely. I don't know.
Right.
But are they possible?
True.
And so when you look at it like that, it's a little easier to kind of give the person the benefit of the doubt, or that little sliver of maybe. I'm not going to say that unless you ask me what I think.
Yeah.
But if you ask me for feedback, well, then I might say something like that. But if you don't, I'm just going to listen and be like, dude, that's really hard. That whole situation is just really tough. So this is kind of what we're trying to teach. That's the purpose of the Validation Podcast. Like, the purpose is to, one, come on here with our stuff that we have. And then, if anyone else has their stuff of certain things that are just going on in their life that they want to talk about, write it down, send it to us. If you want it to be anonymous, we can we'll probably set up like a Google Answers thing. Well, I do like Google Docs, something like that. We can do like anonymously.
I think you could do a Google form.
That's what I'm talking about. A Google form.
And then just not collect email addresses.
Yeah, we just won't collect any data from you and just like submit it.
Yeah.
But maybe I'll set that up and put that in the link description below. But we would love to hear your story, and just talk about stuff going on in your life, and it's okay to talk about these things, you know. So as tough as it is, we'll keep doing this, and hopefully you all keep enjoying it.